Hey. Testing, testing. Look who's back. I know, it's been a while. And even trying to record this episode was so much issues. My computer was giving me a lot of issue, but anyway, how you doing? Okay, so let's talk about what's been going on, where I've been, and what to expect. So we're in May, the first week in May, and the last podcast episode I dropped was in February. So I've been on hiatus with the podcast for 3 months. This was not the plan. When I started the podcast back in November, the plan was to drop 2 episodes per week. And then this thing called life happened, and trying to get back on track has really been a challenge, but I'm back. But it's going to be once a week. I don't have the bandwidth for twice a week because I do have my corporate job. I'm also working with my clients in my Thrive program, which have been going very well. That has been taking a lot of my time. And I've also been recording for YouTube and posting on YouTube twice per week. So if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. It's Train with Trudy, my name, where I'm going to also make sure we link it below. And I'm living, I'm dating, I have a personal life. So it's getting more challenging. So, I want to put out quality stuff for you. So it's going to be once a week as opposed to twice a week. And of course, we're going to also start posting blogs on the website, Train with Trudy. So it's a lot. But I'm kind of nervous because I haven't done this in a while. So here's what happened. So at the top of the year, my birthday was January 8th. I was a hot mess for my birthday emotionally. And I also joined a new church the end of December. So my new church was doing a fast for 21 days. They were doing it right after my birthday, ironically, from January 9th to the 31st, or the 30th, whichever one. 9 plus 21, 30. 30 days, 21 days. And there were a few options, but I opted for the one where no food between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. for 21 days. I have fasted before, but I've done like the Danielle fast. And if you're not familiar with that Danielle fast, it's basically there's no time restriction on when you can eat. There's just no processed sugar, no dairy, no meat, no coffee. I have done that before, and weaning my body off caffeine was something I was afraid of doing again just because of the crash I felt for the first week. And also, my body didn't like being without meat. And I felt called to do the one where eat no food, no water, no nothing from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm figuring, okay, it's only 3 weeks, so that's not a problem. And I brought that up because if you rock with me, especially in the gram, you know I am not a fan of intermittent fasting because it wreaks havoc on the body. It wreaks havoc on the body when performed for long periods of time. So your girl is like, okay, it's only 3 weeks, 21 days. I can handle it, no problem. During the 21 days, I tried working out a few times, could not. My body was like, we're not doing this. And I know that was kind of to be expected because I'm not eating for like 12 hours. So when I did eat, it wasn't enough. And then that was affecting my sleep. No problem. I was like praying and fasting, reading my Bible throughout, and all of that. So when February rolled around, I was like, okay, we done. Let's jump back right into working out. I started working out again. I went to the gym the first week, and of course, I could not lift heavy. I had to start back from scratch because Sometimes it's like you work so hard for so long to get the results, and then you kind of lose it in such a short period of time. That's what happened. No problem. The first week in February was back in the gym for like 2 3 days, 2 3 times a week, every other day. And I'm going to tell you what was happening to me and my body in February. So I noticed I would go to the gym and I would feel tired when I got back home. Early mornings, okay, no problem. I figured, okay, well, you're just starting to eat more again. You're not 25 anymore, you're 45, so the body needs a bit more time to do what it does to get caught up. So I didn't think anything of it. Even drastically lowered my weight. It wasn't a bruise to my ego. It was just like I gotta do what I gotta do. Started eating more. But I noticed a few things were happening. And this is why I'm like, pay attention to your body because your body tells you a lot. Your body gives sign. And I kind of felt like a hypocrite because I teach my clients these, I teach women these, but I wasn't kind of paying attention. So a few things that was going on and I was experiencing it. I noticed I was kind of feeling a bit anxious throughout the days and I couldn't explain what was going on. Remember, I also live in Canada, I live in Toronto, and at the time it was winter. So we weren't getting a lot of sun. So I figured, okay, the lack of sun, even though I take vitamin D, I still need sun. So I was experiencing things like always wanting to move. I felt the urge to always be doing something when I should be resting. It's like I'm consistently picking up my phone. I want to be on my phone. The dopamine rush I was getting from being on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So I also kind of figured that maybe that was because I was off of it for a while because while I was fasting, I wasn't using them as much. But I noticed I was really becoming addicted to my phone. I had to force myself to eat. I wasn't eating as much. And if you know me personally, you know your girl loves to eat. A lot of people don't realize this, but I love to eat. I eat a lot. And I noticed I wasn't really hungry. When I was eating, I would have to force myself. It would be like, oh, I'm going to the gym. I need to eat. Oh, I just got in from the gym, but I'm not hungry. Oh, it's been 5 hours, 6 hours since I ate. Once again, I didn't pick up, I didn't think anything of it with constantly feeling to be on my phone, the anxiety. Other things that was happening, my sleep was a hot mess. It's like the time morning I would be awake. I would be up 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. and I wasn't wired. It was like I tried to sleep and I could not get into a deep sleep. So I even figured, okay, if I'm waking up at 1 a.m., 1:30, then hey, let me go to bed earlier. That made sense, right? No, go to bed at 8 o'clock, 9:30. Still awake. I think I would doze off for like half an hour. And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on here? Other things that I would be experiencing, it's like I would feel tired and wired, but I couldn't fall asleep. And the tiredness and the wiredness, it would literally hit from nowhere. It was like I would literally be on 100 and then drop down to zero real quick, which isn't normal. You're supposed to slowly get tired, but I would be hit with it so hard. And then sugar cravings. Let me tell you something. And once again, all these things are going on and it didn't click, right? I just figured, hey, what's going on with my body? Something's off, but it didn't click. The sugar craving was ridiculous. I remember one time I went by my brother. I had dinner before and then I went by my brother and he made pasta and I had pasta and dessert. It was like when I ate, I wasn't getting full. I didn't feel like I want more, but I didn't feel full, but I kept eating. Then I would feel grossed out and I would be like, what's going on? The sugar craving. I would literally need sugar. I would be in the office when I go into my corporate job once a week. And I remember one day I went through like 4 O. Henrys. Even my coworkers were looking at me like, are you okay? You don't normally eat those things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Once again, not thinking much of it. I remember one Thursday evening, I didn't feel like cooking and I ordered a pizza, a medium pizza. And I'm thinking the plan was for that pizza to last Thursday evening, Friday for lunch, and then Friday evening. Because it was like 8 or 10 slices, something like that. I think 8 slices. I finished the pizza by myself in no time. Next day for lunch, I was like, okay, let me order a bigger pizza so this can last for lunch and dinner and have some for Saturday. Once again, went through the pizza, no problem. Bought a tub of ice cream, went through that by myself in less than 24 hours. I'm doing all of these things and I'm kind of like, what's going on? Oh, okay. And then my period. February was one for the books with my period. I had a period 3 times in February, and I mean full on period. And that's when I was like, okay, something is going on here. And I started paying attention and I started tracking all the things that I was experiencing. And I noticed in the mornings, my face would look a bit puffier and rounder. And I have chubby cheeks, but it was kind of looking different. I would even take photos and look at it. But then this was when I realized what was going on. The light bulb went on. I am an early bird. I go to bed early. I wake up early. I wake up in the mornings at around 4 and my energy is on 100. I have energy. I go to the gym for about 5:30 and I come back home and my energy is on 100. Like I am set for the day, and that's even before caffeine. But I notice I would go to the gym and I would come home and I would have to nap. So one morning I went to the gym and I remembered I walked in, and as soon as I walk in, my coach is right there. I can't believe I'm about to share this. And I had done laundry and the laundry room is downstairs. I remember I walked into my laundry room. I took a towel out the dryer. I just undressed undressed from my gym clothes, left it right there, wrapped myself in the towel and went to sleep. And when I woke up, I felt so groggy, right? Because I start work at 8:30. I would do work from home, but I had to get ready for work. And I'm there thinking, what is wrong? And I'm like, it is not my thyroid, because I just saw my endocrinologist a few weeks ago, the end of January, and my thyroid level was fine. I'm like, I know my iron is low, but something is off. Started paying attention and I noticed that I was still waking up at around 2-3 a.m. Had energy, go to the gym, come back. From like 6 to 8, I had no energy. Then 7-8 p.m., my energy would be on 100. So I started realizing this when I started tracking what's going on. And that's when it hit me. It's like, girl, this is your cortisol. I'm like, I did an episode about this, so you can even check that out where I dive deeper into cortisol on episode 6. That's when it hit me that it's my cortisol level that's imbalanced. That's why I'm waking up early in the mornings. That's why I'm craving sugar the way I'm craving. That's why at 2 a.m. I have so much energy. And then at 8 a.m. I'm crashing. That's why at 7 p.m. I have so much energy. So I did talk about this in episode 6, but I'm going to kind of review it here. When your cortisol levels are balanced, they're supposed to be higher in the mornings, like 5 a.m. You're supposed to have more energy because cortisol level is higher. And then, when you go through stress throughout the day, it goes up and down. Then in the evenings, cortisol levels are supposed to be dropping. And then melatonin, which is responsible for us going to sleep, supposed to be rising. That's when it's balanced, when cortisol is balanced. When cortisol is not balanced, the opposite happen. Have more energy in the evenings and less energy in the mornings. And that's when I was like, oh, this is what is going on with me. My cortisol levels are out of whack. They're imbalanced and I need to get them back in. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, it was the fasting for 3 weeks, even though it was only 3 weeks. And I'm like, how could I be this naive? I preach to my clients, don't fast, but here I am doing it, even though it's for spiritual reasons. But I'm like, you're still not eating in the day. And I honestly thought 3 weeks wouldn't have done any harm to my body, but I'm 45. The body's different. My hormones different. And I've never fasted like that before, as I mentioned. So the good news is, figured out what was wrong. So now it was like, okay, I got to get this under control. And even for the month of February, I didn't work out as intense because I didn't have as much energy. I did go to the gym. Now, let's get into March. So that was part of the reason I couldn't record any podcast episodes. It was just like I had to balance everything out. It was just like, what's really important now? What can wait? Of course, my corporate job, my clients, YouTube. So now I'm like, okay, I gotta balance it. So there's some of the things that I did. There's a lot of different things to do. Let me back up a bit. No, I did not go to my doctor and get it tested. I didn't do that because I am familiar with the body and the hormones and have a sense of what's going on, right? If you feel you have an imbalance in hormone, please go and see your doctor if you are not well versed in this. As I said, I knew it wasn't my thyroid because my endocrinologist had checked my thyroid a few weeks before and it was good. And I had also done my physical, but we didn't check for cortisol level. And cortisol level, it's one of those hormones where it's also the challenge with testing cortisol levels is it can show that your cortisols are okay in the blood work when they're not, because it depends on what you have going on the day or the time when they get tested, because our hormones are fluctuating so much at this point. So I didn't want to get it tested. I didn't want to go. I was like, I'm going to treat myself. But had I not done my blood work for my thyroid a few weeks before, I definitely would have gone to my doctor to be like, hey, something's going on. So because, as I said, I'm pretty versed on this. I knew what was going on. I was like, okay, I'm going to treat this. So some of the things that I started doing was in the mornings when I woke up, whatever time it was, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I started my day there. I would take hot and cold showers. I had to work my way up to them cold showers at 2 a.m. because alternating between the hot and the cold was definitely working. So I did that for a while. Another thing that I did was, because my face was puffy from the cortisol level, I would start using ice cubes on it, rubbing ice cubes, because that really helped with the circulation. Another thing that I did, I stopped using my phone as my alarm. I got a clock that I did share on IG, as one of those circadian clock where it kind of lights up. But when the alarm goes off, it's a soothing noise. I chose sometimes the bird or the ocean. I didn't want a jarring sound because I know waking up to that jarring sound early morning, that's going to elevate my cortisol level. That's going to keep it high. Another thing that I make sure I started doing, having much more water throughout the day, because be not drinking enough water, which sometimes happen in the winter months because, inside the air is hot, the hot air is circulating, and I'm not outside as much and sweating, so I don't feel like I'm losing water. And I just didn't have the energy. I didn't have the energy to be drinking a lot of water, so I had to make sure I start drinking a lot of water. I gave up the weights. Weights can also be great for cortisol, but I didn't want to do anything too intense. So I started doing more mobility work. And what I also started doing was when I would feel tired in the days, I would take a quick nap. But then I started going to bed a little earlier, a little earlier, a little earlier. And then I got to the point where I was up to like 12 hours of sleep because I was like, I need sleep. And even on the weekends, I aimed to go to my bed the same time and wake up the same time. Yes, on Saturdays and Sundays, I would be up at 5 a.m. I would be up reading because I needed to trick my body. I needed to tell my body, okay, this is the time I want to wake up. This is the time I want to go to bed. And by doing like the mobility work in the evening, it really started relaxing me. I went back to journaling and just kind of like chilling in the evenings, get my body into relaxation mode. And I upped my protein. I had lowered my protein because I wasn't working out. So I'm like, I'm not lifting weights, so I don't need as much protein. Then I remember, okay, protein helps to balance the hormones. Protein help to keep the cortisol level in check. So I started doing that. And that was what? From the last week in February, sorry, until about mid-March. And let me tell you, it worked. It worked. And now I'm back to sleeping my 7 to 9 hours a night, lifting heavy in the gym, feeling fully energetic. I'm recording this in the evening, and probably within an hour of this, I'm going to go to bed because my body is back on schedule. So here are the things that I want you to take away from this. One, pay attention to your body. Take notes as to what's going on with your body. You're not going to remember. You have so many things going on where you're going to forget things. But when you take notes, when you write down what's going on, when it's going on, you start tracking, you'll realize. Work with a professional, someone who knows what they're doing. So they can help you. Because honestly, had I not known about this, I would have probably still feeling like crap because, as I said, you can't always depend on the blood work, because I know of a lot of people where their cortisol levels were out of whack and the blood work kept saying things are normal, but they felt like crap. And yeah, so those were the things that I want you to take away and learn from me. I don't think I will do another 21-day fast, even for church. I'm back to fasting probably like once a week. I'm just realizing it's not for me, because at the end of the day, you're still not eating, right? So yeah, so this is gonna drop before the week ends. I'll probably put it out Friday morning. And starting this week, I guess, we'll be back to once a week. Oh, can y'all do me a favor? I'm getting bold in asking for exactly what I want. If you've listened to the podcast, could you could you rate and comment, give me a few ratings, comment. I realize I do need that, so the algorithm can push it out to more people. And I'm not going to be coy about what I want. I want this to spread to more women. So please rate and leave a comment below. And yeah, if we're not connected on the gram or on TikTok, Let's connect. Train with Trudy. And please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Train with Trudy. Until next week, bye.